Hi everyone, how you doing? Great to see you. Great to see so many names already on the chat. Lovely to see you all. As Guy Gibson said in the Dam Busters movie, by my watch, chaps, it's time to go, and so it is. Time to go. What's that got to do with Star Wars? Of course. Lucas used the Dam Busters as inspiration for the final bit of the first Star Wars movie, 1976. Anyway, may the 4th be with you. Today I'm going to attempt, and I mean attempt, because last time I tried to build a zero and I did precisely the square root of nothing to it. I'm going to try and make something of this today. I've already primed it, so I'm kind of a little bit ahead, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Lovely to see you all popping in. A lot of very, very, very familiar faces. Faces? Of course they're not faces. They're comments, they're names, they're names. I don't know many of your faces. This is the terrible thing. I went to Telford last year and people came and say, "Hey Gary," and, "Yeah, hi, how are?" And you are? Because yeah, YouTube isn't a two-way thing. I don't know what you look like, I'm sorry. But anyway, lovely to see some properly great names up there. Nick, I'm glad you're here. I've had a great day. I've had a great day in lots of ways. Today has been a winning day. You know, some days are yeah, and other days are. Today was a day because you may remember Nick sent me this enormous kit a while ago called the Terror Cruiser with the Mace missile. It is. I'll show you. This here, right? This is the tractor unit. There's more with a missile. This is 1/32nd scale. It's huge. Crazy Loacher, I need to talk to you about weathering the fifth wheel, mate, at some point. But anyway, so it's a vast kit. It's going together very well. What they don't include in the kit, which is very sad, is any glassware for the cab. So, ta-da! Glassware in the windows. I can see the reflection. There you go. Yay! I've been putting glass into my windows on the cab. I've also done, I hope you can see, the little control panel there. The control panel sounds like an aeroplane. Instrument panel, which is all done by dry brushing. It's a little difficult to see well, but yeah, it's about as good as you're going to get, I think, from this video webcam thingy. Obviously, all of this is going to be online soon enough anyway. So, how are you all doing? I hope we're all very, very well. Oh, there's so many comments. Gary, make it greasy and then add more grease. Thank you very much. That's, if you've literally joined in the last 10 seconds, that's going to sound really weird. But Crazy Loacher, thank you so much. I knew you would know all about fifth wheels and stuff. I did it chrome. I've put a lot of burnt sienna oil on it, oil paint on it, and then I'm going to put on some darker stuff as well. But I'll send you some pictures and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so there's so many people. First of all, can I just he didn't recognise me without the glasses, I know. Can I just say, look, if I don't get round to saying hi when you said hi to me, I really am not being rude. I really don't want to disrespect you. It's just I'm very lucky that there are a lot of people checking in. So hello all of you. Thank you very, very much for joining me on my second live stream. I had such a buzz last time. My dear wife, who I think might be watching, if she is, hi Maria, love you loads. She could tell you, I came off the live stream last time and I was buzzing like I was on some sort of drug. I was endorphins. No, I was absolutely on it. I was so enjoyed the chat, the give and take. You chat to each other, chat to me, and as I said, I did absolutely nothing of the build. I was going to do last time, and of course I haven't done anything of the build here either. I'm going to get something having along on here, and let's see how we go. Oh, right, got some pieces of plastic. Woohoo! I'm going to at least make a start. I'm going to make a start on Darth Vader. Evening, 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 evening. Hi, g'day. Oh, you're going to start an Airfix Typhoon Mark 1, 72nd. Very nice, cool. Hey, yeah, Crazy Locha, I hope Maria picks that up because she'd really, really appreciate that, my friend. Let me tell you. Okay, I'm going to take Darth Vader off of here first. So, I hope you've all been having a wonderful week. The other thing you'll notice me doing from time to time, other than looking at this and going, oh, blah, 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 is taking a sip of beer. Now, the beer of the week is Sainsbury's own Coronation Ale. So, long live the king. Did you see, by the way, Airfix are doing a Coronation Fly Past bundle now? I kid you, if you haven't seen it, I kid you not, they have put on a bundle of the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight kit with the Lancaster and 2 Spitfires, 9 Hawk starter sets, 6 Typhoon gift sets, and 6 of the new F-35B gift sets. That's a lot of model making to do. And don't get me wrong, I love the guys at Airfix. They're brilliant, they're fun, they engage with us model makers a lot. But seriously, I mean, okay, you get like 24, 25 flying hours for it. And let me see, I'm going to check it out. I can't check it out on my computer, obviously, because that's one of the cameras you're looking at me is my laptop, and there's my webcam. But I will check it out here. I did look earlier because I didn't quite believe it. Yeah, it's somewhere £250 or something like that. I don't know. Let me check it out. AIRFIX. It's. Do you think anyone's really going to buy that? There we go. King's Coronation Bundle. A bundle fit for a king. Do you think King Charles, after all the rush of Saturday, is going to think, hey, do you know what, Camilla, what a chap really needs to do is build a few model kits. Yeah. Anyway, there it is. I'm not kidding. There it is. Yeah, you can see it. £250 for all of those. Now, the problem I can see with it, one of the many problems I can see with it, is surely for all the Hawks, you're going to have to go after market to get all the numbers, all the registrations. Likewise, the Typhoons, likewise the F-35Bs. So you're definitely going to have a lot of planes to build for 250 quid, but you're probably going to spend another 50, 60, 70 quid on decals, I'd have thought, if you want to do it properly. But that's just me. I don't know. Anyway, I know you don't recognise me with these on, but I cannot actually read this or look at these things with my glasses on. It would be, yeah, Simon John, it would be kit of the year. I absolutely agree with you. It would be a kit because it would take all year to build the blasted things. I would say, however, the F-35B kit is a really good starter. I mean, a properly good starter set. We'll ignore some of the failings of it as a kit of the F-35B, but in terms of it being a really good starter set, it is. Likewise, the Hawk is a very good starter set. Both of them have got the clip-in canopies. You know, when we were young, all those years ago, when we were young, you'd build your first Airfix kit, and the first thing you would do would be to mess up the canopy. Because you put far too much glue around it, and your fingers would stick to it, and it all be, so, you know, finger marks, and you get the haze from the solvents coming off, and it would look terrible. These days, you know, you literally just sauce it in one end and push it in, and it's done. Brilliant, brilliant design. I love those. The Eurofighter kit, not so great, but it's old. It's been around a while. All of these kits, incidentally, have been made on my channel. Do check out my back catalogue for more. So, what we doing? Crazy Roger, it would actually be a really good thing for a club or a group, like a school group or something like that to do. I think, do you know what? It would be a really good thing, like an air cadet group or something. You just hand them out, and then they all come back. And it'd be a brilliant thing to then do, you know, making red, white and blue cotton wool things for the red arrows and whatever. The nice thing is, of course, there's the proper coronation flyby on Saturday. Because of where we are, just sort of kind of north-east of Heathrow, between Heathrow and RAF Northolt, we see a lot of it. Once it goes over London, we see a lot of them sort of exiting the area over here. So I'm going to try and photograph a few of them, just in case. And you're chatting amongst yourselves. Do you know what? I love the fact you chat amongst yourselves. I actually really do, because it takes the pressure off of me to entertain you. Adam Atwood, Gary, what was your first kit? My first kit, like pretty much everyone in the world, apart from apparently Andrew Kemp. Hey Andrew, how you doing? My first kit was an Airfix Spitfire. I mean, properly, my first kit back when I was like sort of 7. A long time ago. A long time ago. But it was also the kit that got me back into modelling about 6 years ago. I mean, a lot of you would have heard the story. You know, a national newspaper run this thing, and you get a free Spitfire. It's what the Aldi and Lidl offer at Christmas. That Spitfire set, the DWK one, that was given away with a national newspaper, and my dear wife Maria suggested we gave it to our granddaughters to build. And knowing their ages and knowing their general interests, I thought, that ain't gonna work. I'll build it, and that got me back into building models. I had forgotten how much pleasure there is in building model kits, and here I am 5 or so years later doing it for a living, which is bizarre. I mean, it is actually bizarre that I make a living putting bits of plastic next to other bits of plastic. It's fantastic. I tell you, it's much better than having to go to work. Oh, there we go. Darth Vader. Do many of you remember, was that spit in blue plastic? Do you know, I think it probably was. Adrian, you're right about that wheel on the Airfix Meteor. That's the nose wheel, isn't it? The nose wheel thing, where the nose wheel strut pokes out under the model, and you have to put that in before you spray the kit, and they get broken every time. It's terrible. Benedetto, I joined your Facebook group earlier today. Fantastic. Joe, hey Joe, how you doing, my friend? You alright? Richard, how I build kits to get away from any problems. My time at the bench. Do you know what? That's the whole thing. That's the whole point. You know, when you get to your bench and you're building a kit, you can lose yourself entirely. You may have all sorts of other things going on in your life and whatever, but just for those few hours or moments or whatever, you can just get yourself completely lost in another world, and it's brilliant. That is the whole point, by the way, of Models for Heroes. I needed to, oh, actually I wanted to show you this. I got this lovely card from Models for Heroes the other day. If you remember, I did a thing where I was going to use up some flying hours, and you guys chose, or a lot of you chose, what kit I was going to make, the SM79 Spaviero. By the way, thanks for that. One of the best videos I've had, 20-something thousand views, a couple of hundred new subscribers. Well chosen. Anyway, I said at the time, normally I'd say if you've got excess flying hours, send them to Models for Heroes. But I had some kits left over from the Aldi and Lidl videos at Christmas, boxed them up, sent them over to them, and I got this rather lovely card back. And I love this. You know, instruction panel number 1 is join the two hearts together. Isn't that lovely? Great guys, great guys. So what they show, what they've proved through their research and ongoing research, is that model making is not only a really good diversion activity, like it makes you think of other things than your problems, but also you get a sense of achievement from it. And that applies to everyone, not just the people at who Models for Heroes help, be they ex-service or first responders or whoever in public service who go through hell sometimes. I just saw something, yeah, 96 called Mark held up a gunpoint when I was a postie. Why would people do that? Mark, I'm sorry to hear you went through that, mate, but I'm very glad to know that a VC-10 helped you back. VC-10, one of the finest aircraft ever built, let me tell you. I flew in one as an air cadet back in about 1977, 78. We went to Bryce Norton, went in a VC-10 up to Prestwick for a few touch and goes and back. It was quite a long trip. And ours was, all the RAF VC-10s are named after Victoria Cross winners, VCs. And ours was Albert Ball VC, I think XV109 from memory. Brilliant plane, the VC-10. The seats face backwards. All the seats face backwards. It's so much better for you. Safer, apparently. I'm sorry, I've got to look at the instructions now. I'm chatting away and I've forgotten the instructions. Okay. Why is nothing in numerical order here? Nothing's in numerical order. Okay, cool. That's part 19A. Let me just show you. Look at these instructions, right? Okay. 2D, 19A, 17.3, FB. Bit more step by step, please, like Airfix do. Would be really helpful. 2 means presumably that's the second thing you do, and 19A is the part I need, which is right here. You flew the VC-10s? Yeah. I think I'm right in saying the VC-10 is the only mass production airliner that never had a fatality. No crashes, no anything. One was blown up, of course, famously. A BOAC one was blown up in the desert by the PLO or something after it had been hijacked. But I think I'm right in saying that no one, they didn't lose any people to accidents, which is remarkable. And it's so noisy. You see a VC-10 taking off, you feel a VC-10 taking off. It's like It's like this sort of visceral thing. Those is it Conways? The engines, really. Oh man, amazing. Not quite all of the RAF VC10s facebacks. Is that right, Nick? Um, okay, why would they not? Are they like VIP ones or something didn't face backwards? I don't know. I don't know. They're safer, apparently. Um, but they would be. If you think that ultimately, shouldn't talk about these things maybe, but ultimately, if you're going to hit something at 600 miles an hour, don't care what way round it faces. But if you do something like a rejected takeoff, so you're piling along at like 150 knots, and suddenly you lose one of the engines, you think, no, we're before V1, we can stay on the runway, it's grand. You slam on the brakes, you slam on the reverse. If you think about it, as a passenger, you are thrown forward against your straps, whereas the RAF way, you've got a seat back to support you. Apparently, it's only passenger choice that means that they don't do it on airliners. It's much, much better for you. Christopher, I miss the old airliners too. I've flown on VC10s, I've flown on BSC 111s. Do you remember Core Airlines that they're called a Halcyon things, and they're coloured really amazing colours. Tridents, I've flown a Trident as well. A beautiful plane. The Trident. Now there's a plane. That is a plane and a half. From what I remember, I might be wrong. From what I remember, the Trident was the only aircraft that was cleared to use reverse thrust in flight, but only on the middle engine. And that was used to hugely lose altitude. You could lose like 10,000 feet a minute quite safely by putting the middle engine into reverse, and it would go straight up. But the other two engines are still producing normal power. Beautiful plane, the Trident, absolutely beautiful. And it had the horns, not instead of listening, it had like horn controllers. Beautiful. Flew on a VC-10 when my family was sent by the army to Hong Kong. Richard, that means you probably flew into the old Kai Tak airfield, which was possibly the scariest approach anywhere in the world. Look it up on YouTube. It's not there now. They've got a lovely new airport out in the bay that they built on an artificial island. But the old one at Kai Tak, which is now a ferry terminal, was scary. That approach was scary. My God. Yeah, 1968 Concorde. Only ever flown on Concorde. I know. Do you know what? I know. I've heard. The one plane I would have loved to have flown on and never did. Concorde. Wow. Yeah, BSC 111. Yeah, they did. Like some of the DC-9s also had a rear stairway between the two engines almost. Oh, amazing. Adam, for your birthday, you got the V Bomber bundle. Whoever gave you that is a wonderful person, because those are gorgeous kits. The Valiant is amazing. The new Vulcan, incredible. The Victor, I've not made. I wish they did the Victor with all the bombs, the 35 1,000 pounders, but what I hear, an amazing kit as well. You're going to have an absolute blast building those, buddy. Danair Comet, Mark. I flew on a Danair Comet. When would that have been? 76, 77. I was on an exchange visit to Germany, and we flew to Munich on a Danair Comet, which was lovely, except we were delayed at Gatwick, and we had to wait for quite a long time, an hour or so. And the Comet wasn't well known for its air conditioning, and it was late July, early August. It was so hot, but I did manage to fly on one, which was really cool. Danair Comet. Mark, Britain Norman Islander. Yes, Britain Norman Islander. I flew on one from Jersey to Guernsey. Was it an Islander or a Trilander? Might have been a Trilander. With Aurigny Air Services. And it was the funniest thing I've done. So the pilot got in the plane. I mean, it's like sort of 6 of us in this thing. Got in the plane, and to do the pre-flight check, literally, he did all the pre-flight stuff, and to do the pre-flight chat, he went, "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome." Literally turned over his shoulder and chatted to us. We'll be flying at an altitude of 2,000 feet, and it was delightful. Got to Guernsey, and he helped unload the aircraft. Brilliant. I love it. I love it. Next Olympics will be held inside the Antonov 225. Red Des, sadly, it won't, because it's in kit form, let's say, thanks to Vladimir Vladimirovich and his buddies. A Dove, Jake, Dove. You know, I've never flown on a Dove. Those are beautiful planes. Those are. Do you know, some guy, I think it's up at Duxford. They do flights in a Dragon Rapide over London and stuff. Yeah, it sounds like it. You know, the sort of 1930s classic days of aviation sort of thing. Absolutely lovely. Joe, UH a BR-105. Yeah, Joe. Oh, what? You're in the Spanish Army? My goodness, I had no idea. Oh, by the way, George, love the channel. Thank you so much, my friend. I enjoy doing it, which is really cool. Neil, thank you so much for joining us. I am so jealous you're in France. I have to say, Plan A some years ago was for us to move to France. I love the place, absolutely love the place. Thank you so much for dropping by, though. Nimrod, Adam, yes, Nimrod, that was something else. I flew on one of those once, long time ago, as well. I've flown on a lot of strange planes back in the day. I think I was like, I was of the right time as an air cadet to fly, to get the experience of a lot of really cool planes, like the VC-10, the Belfast, the Argosy, the Hercules, and then the Beaver, Hunter once, and things like that. When I was an air cadet, and they were, you know, health and safety said, you can basically do what you like with these kids. If they want to jump in a plane with you, that's their problem. I flew in a lot of really cool planes, and then after I left college and went to work for Nikon, and I got to fly in some really cool things with them because they were selling stuff to the MOD, and I was there demonstrating it for them. So I got to fly in a lot of pretty cool machines as a result. 124th Stuka. Do you know, I was thinking of that, but it's just beyond me. It really is beyond me slightly. Do you know what? I've been chatting so much. Do you know, this won't make the edit. The bit I've missed off won't make the edit. Just between us, okay? Where is it? Yeah, here it is. I'm distracted so much with you guys talking amazing stuff. Planning to go to the Hendon RAF Museum. Jake, I would say right next door to Hendon is the Hannants UK London store. So if you order anything from Hannants, you can pick it up from there. If you do it in advance enough, you can pick it up from there. It's like actually like a proper old model shop. I went there with Harry Grant a little while ago, and it was amazing, properly amazing. Really, really nice place, and the people there really know what they're talking about. So it's literally 100 yards or 200 yards from the front door of Hendon. Hendon these days is stunning. If none of you have been, you know, if some of you haven't been there, and you're kind of within sort of shouting distance of London, or you're visiting London, get there on the Northern Line on the Underground, and you can get on buses and whatever, and it's not that difficult to drive, and there's loads of parking. It is a properly good museum. I've been going. I first went there. Oh goodness me! I hate to think how long ago it was. I first went there. I went there when I was studying photography. I did a project there one night. I photographed their Wellington, which at the time was done up as a T10 with the fed over front as a trainer. But I was lucky I got after hours access and did some photography of that with a... Now, those of you who don't understand that originally film was the way we did these things won't understand how important the next phrase is. I shot everything on that visit on a 5x4 camera. So it was the negatives were 5x4 inches, about that big. And it's one of those cameras where you put the film in the back and pick up the slide and put a hood over your head. Before you do all of that, you put a hood over your head and sort of tweak the focus and all that. Absolutely hilarious. I loved using 5x4. Nowadays it's all digital and whatever. But in those days, that gave you incredible sharpness. I mean, incredible sharpness. Equivalent to maybe a 500 megabit camera, or megapixel camera now. I mean, really, really beautiful. Let me check with some of these. So I'm rabbiting away. I'm not checking my things. Crazy notion. Should have started a pool bet on how far I'd get with the kit versus chatting. You're right, but I have to say, my dear friend, that I've got further with this now than I ever did with the Zero. But hey, I've got a Zero to do. I'm going to do that as a kit where I'm going to, you call it a painting mule, I'm going to call it a weathering mule, but I'm going to do some looks, use it to do a look at how to do weathering of different types. So weathering powders, weathering solutions, oils, washes and stuff like that. I'm going to do that. However, I should say today I got a guy called Dane Stewart sent me 3 kits, one of which was a Hasegawa Zero in 1/72. So I'm going to do the comparison between the 2 kits as well. Can't be bad. Mark, you've never been to Hendon, mate. Seriously, you got to go there. If you can, you have to go there. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Substitute 7%. The guys at Hannon's London are always good to have a chat with. They are. You know, I've been in there just the once. I've been in there, and it was brilliant. They were really helpful, really knowledgeable. Not showing off either. They were really good people, and the store. I mean, it's literally the whole. We've got like walls full of kits, floor to ceiling, full of kits. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely brilliant. Steer clear of the 1/32 Revel F4U. I've heard that as well, mate. I've heard that as well. It's really cheap, but I'm told it's a really poor kit. You remember the Beverley outside the museum, Mark? I do too. I actually don't know where it's gone. Pity. It's a lovely plane, that Beverley. One of those things you look at and think, how does that actually fly? Like a bumblebee. You think it's too big and chunky and not quite streamlined enough to actually get into the air, but amazing. Randall, yeah, you were Hendon 30. Really? Yes. You should go back, mate. It's amazing. It's amazing. they've got all these different galleries now. Have I got, just one second. Have I got everything I need here? Yes, I have. Okay. Right. I'm on to part 2 of the instructions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Part 11 and part 13. Right, okay. Yeah, Hendon is amazing. I went there with Harry Grant recently. Actually, not that recently, a little while ago. And I was amazed. Amazed. You see, what you don't realise until you go to some of these places is how huge some of these planes are. Oh, Gavin. Hi, Gary. I'm sorry you're late to the party. You've been building your Blenheim. Yes, I have been building mine. I don't want to show you. It's fine. It's not like I don't want to show you. Oh my god, I made a mess. But no, it's grand. But I don't want to sort of preempt the build video. But yes, I have been making mine, and surprisingly, I've been enjoying it. Andrew, you've got your Bowfighter. I have to say that Bowfighter is amazing. It's beautiful. That kit was properly good to go together. I really, really enjoyed making that. As you'd have told, if you've seen my video. If you haven't, go off and see my video. Jay, what's my favourite Star Wars ship? That's... You know, I built the... yeah, I'm doing this Revel thing, by the way, at the moment. But however, the other 2 kits I've made from Star Wars so far, the Luke Skywalker thing and the other X-Wing, were both Bandai ones, and they came with stands and stuff like that. Really impressive. I'd have to say the first one, the Rebel thing, Luke Skywalker thing with R2-D2 on the back and all that, that was a lot of fun to build. I haven't built that many. Sci-fi really hasn't been my thing in terms of building, but it is in terms of watching, so maybe I should do more. Mark, shocked at Ducks at how small the SR-71 was. That's interesting. I thought it was pretty big a thing. I know how leaky it is. That's amazing, but yeah, whatever. Christopher, I took a photograph next to the Sunderland. Oh my goodness, yeah. A friend of mine sent me a photo of himself next to the TSR2 at Duxford, and it's like this beautiful. I love the TSR2. Let me tell you, it's been my favourite plane since I very first saw it when I was about 9. TSR2, and there's this tiny little figure. Now Simon, bless him, isn't that big, but it was like this tiny little figure, and it's a huge plane. So a Sunderland is vast. The Lightning is enormous. Buccaneer is incredibly big. It's absolutely huge. And to stand next to these things, you get more of an impression of what they must be like to fly in and to operate. And sometimes you think, how on earth did they get that off an aircraft carrier? It is huge. Then you had bombs and fuel and all the rest of it, and a couple of people inside. My goodness. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Good luck with the build, yeah. Yeah. By the way, Crazy Locha, thank you so much for the gifts there. Really good of you, man. Crazy Locha is one of the nicest guys on the planet. One of the most generous guys on the planet, because he supports this channel and lots of other channels, and he gets a big buzz from it. But his knowledge about the model making world is fantastic as well. So, I forgot to tell you. Oh, Maria will be shouting figuratively up the stairs about it. 11,000 subscribers today. I didn't get 11,000. I passed 11,000 subscribers today. My goodness, I am so excited. It's taken 2 months to get from 10 to 11, which I can handle. 6 or 7,000 a year. I'm happy with that. Crazy Loader, you're not an average ordinary truck driver. A, you're probably a pretty damn good truck driver. If I know anything about you, you do it properly. And B, you're an amazing supporter of this hobby, so thank you so much. I won't embarrass you more than that, but you're a great guy. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, the Corsair is absolutely enormous compared with the Spitfire, but then, yeah, anything's big compared with the Spitfire, let's be frank. A Dragonfly is big compared with the Spitfire, and I don't mean the helicopter, I mean the insect is big compared with the Spitfire. Thank you, Joe. Thanks very much. Thank you, Rob. By the way, thank you to all of my supporters here who have dropped in to say hi. You're sending your congratulations on my reaching 11,000. Without you guys, it's not going to happen. So thank you all so very, very much. What on earth is that? Really? That goes on which way? Oh, I see. Right, yeah, that goes in there. Okay. Crazy Loader, if you didn't know, Crazy Loader is based in Florida, and I guess half of his problem driving his truck is us Brits going over there to go to various theme parks and whatever, and hiring cars and making his roads really difficult for him to drive on because we're really bad at driving in America. Jim Altagot, hello and greetings from Chicago. Dude, 2017 we went to America, Maria and I went to America to see the eclipse, the solar eclipse, and we flew to Chicago. We had a few days there and did a road trip, went to see a very, very dear friend of ours in Kansas City, and then came back to Chicago to fly home. Chicago is brilliant. If any of you are thinking of going to a city in America that's not New York or LA or San Fran, and you want to think, you know, it's a great place, interesting place to go, varied place to go, go to Chicago. My goodness, I loved it. We had brunch on like the 101st floor of some tower overlooking the city. We went up another tower where there's a glass floor you can stand on, like sort of 1,000 feet above the ground. It's the home of the Chicago Bears, the finest football side in the NFL, and I won't hear anything else about that. It's the home of Garrett's Popcorn, the best popcorn in the world, and it's the home of the Chicago dog, the best hot dog there is. Trust me, if you want to go to a city that's not New York or LA or San Fran, you have to go to Chicago. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Do you know they've got a beach? It's in the middle of America-ish, but they've got a beach because, of course, it's on one of the Great Lakes, on Lake Michigan, and they've got a huge beach. And in the summer, it's like going to the south of France or something. It's absolutely amazing. Had a terrible Chicago deep pan pizza in Chicago. Well, dude, I'm not okay. Jim, forget. Just don't listen to this. But I'm not a fan of a deep pan pizza anyway. Pizzas to me are wafer thin, and in Italy. So, but and you're on the way to New Orleans. My goodness, we were thinking of going to New Orleans. Never actually did. But New Orleans would be another city we did. What did we do? We went to Andrew Kemp. By the way, Andrew Kemp, the late great Walter Payton. Indulge me. Just 1 second. Indulge me on this. one of, if not the greatest things I have ever in is this Walter Payton 34, the 1985 Super Bowl uniform. The man, Sweetness Payton, was a god of running backs. I love it. Went to Soldier Field. We went to Soldier Field. I bought that. Went outside. Had a Chicago dog. I said, do you know what? Pff, that is like, heaven on earth. Yes, Jim, it was the John Hancock building. We then went up the Willis Tower, which is the thing that's got the glass thing on it. Amazing. Benedetto, do you know what? I hate to say this, and apologies to any of my friends across the pond watching, but you're absolutely right. Pizza, wafer thin. If it takes longer than 30 seconds to cook in the oven in a proper restaurant, no, it's not right. It's not right. Okay, where am I? Okay, that goes in front of him. And yeah, okay. Trying desperately to figure out what's going on. But I will say, Chicago, Garrett's popcorn. Oh, man, you have not tasted popcorn unless you tried Garrett's. The simple caramel popcorn. You can smell it from like 3 blocks away. And this is in Chicago, which is a big old city. Amazing, amazing. Jim, yeah. You're right. It's not the defining thing of it. I had also one of the best Chinese meals I've ever had in my life in Chicago, in the local Chinatown. And it's weird because, like, on one side of the menu, it's like, this is for you Westerners, and then on this side of the menu, this is for Chinese people. And the menu for the Chinese people, oh my goodness, the sort of things they eat and think is fine, it's frightening. You think I'm a celebrity or whatever, have some weird stuff to eat. Oh my goodness. Having said that, I never tried it. It could be really nice. I understand. But quietly, yeah. Jim, yeah, Walter Payton Sweetness was one of the best NFL players ever, in my opinion. And I started supporting the Bears in '84 because I don't know why. I don't know why. Something about them just kind of clicked with me. And they didn't have a great season in '84 under Mike Ditka. And it was shown on Channel 4 free to air in the UK. And I kind of got used to it. I thought, you know, I actually really understand this game and really got into it. But the Chicago Bears, for some reason, really piqued my interest. And then, of course, the following year, it was '85. I think they lost one game in the whole season. And like, you know, people talk about the Invincibles, the Arsenal side. These guys lost one game when they just relaxed a little bit too much. But every other game they won. And they were stunning. Walter Payton, incredible player. They had William the Refrigerator Perry, the fridge, playing at 72, who occasionally was used in offense, just the basic. This guy was like a man mountain, and he would just go straight through the defense of the other side. Absolutely incredible. Mike Singletary running the defense for Chicago. Oh my God. This sounds like a new channel completely. I should do maybe an American football channel one day. But my goodness, what a side. And what fun to watch. Ferry, you've only been to the airport in Chicago. Yeah, it's a big old airport. It's a big airport. Jim, there are lots of really nice places to eat. Next time I'm here, visit a Greek restaurant. Do you know, sadly, I don't know how soon I'll be over there. I mean, I used to go to America a lot. I've been I've been more than a dozen times. I used to do it when I was working for a living. I haven't been there that often of late. I think, as I say, 2017 was the most recent time I've been there. But I just love it. I just really like it there. I like the pace. I like the attitude. What I don't like at the moment is your attitude to guns, or some people's attitude to guns. Let's leave it at that. Nick, got your next mystery box waiting to send. Oh my goodness, Nick. Okay. I'm still working through the Terror Cruiser kebabs, as I call them. These are the wheels of this Terror Cruiser thing that carried the Mason nuclear missile. They're incredibly big, bulbous wheels. So I'm working through those. I'm actually going to paint something. Hey, I'm going to paint something. How about that? I'm already so more up in front of the curve than I was last time I did this thing. I don't know a thing about American football, but I'm enjoying the chit chat. Oh, you're building a chipmunk, Christopher Evans. You are building a chipmunk. I love that kit. I love that kit. I'm going to be building one in, probably in August. I'll try and fit it in August because I've got one, and August will be my second anniversary of starting the kit builds on YouTube. So I'm thinking I'll be doing it there. Yeah, Montana. Oh my goodness. Andrew Kemp, Jim McMahon was your quarterback. He was indeed. One-eyed Jim McMahon. Amazing. If you ever, if you're into these things, if you're into American sports or something, there's some great documentaries about the '85 Bears on satellite TV and stuff like that. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. They were a great side. They were a side of characters, and not necessarily in a good way, but they went to the Super Bowl and they won it 42-10 against New England Patriots. Yeah. May have to visit Tennessee for work soon, Dane Stewart, the patron state of shooting stuff. Well, yeah, you're right. It is. Can I just, Dane Stewart, it just popped in there. Can I just say, I got a package from Dane today. It was, I got an ICM BF109, I think the F, in 1/48th. The Hasegawa Mitsubishi Zero in 1/72nd. The Shinden, you know that canard fighter from the end of the war, Hasegawa in 48th. I've been wanting to make a Shinden for years. And a pot of the AK glue, PVA glue for transparencies. What I love about that is, I don't know what the glue's like yet because I haven't tried it, but it's got a needle applicator, really carefully thought out. Dane, thank you so much for all of those. They arrived very, very safely. I've checked them all out. Everything looks amazing, and that's really, really kind of you. Thank you, mate. Okay. Jake, I don't know anything about American football. It seems interesting. Do you know what? It is interesting. It is actually interesting. It's tactical. It's more like I was going to say chess, but I think that's probably being a little bit generous. It is, the tactics are very, very strong, and the plays, and who gets what and whatever. But it's really cool. Actually, it's a really good game to watch. I keep saying if every now and again the NFL come to London, they go to Wembley Stadium, which is really not far from here, on not even on a clear day, on a moderately clear day, I can see Wembley Stadium from where we are. And I keep saying, if the Bears ever come here, then I am definitely getting tickets for that. Going up there in my shirt, and you know what, we got beaten, but it'll be fun getting beaten. Get some hot dogs and stuff. Dane, yeah, thank you so much. It will definitely help the channel. You will all be seeing the fruits of that delivery before too long, I promise you. I've been wanting to make an F109 in 1/48. I did make the Airfix one. A mate of mine, Neil, gave me some years ago, there's a club kit of a 109, and one of the decor options was a captured aircraft in RAF colours, and that's what I built. But that was before I did YouTube. So a 109 in 48 is good, I think. Yeah. Leslie Shram, I've played at Wembley in a big band with Roy Castle. Oh my goodness, Roy Castle, record breakers, bless his heart. Died of lung cancer, never smoked a cigarette in his life. It was secondary smoke through playing clubs and all those years. He was actually a pretty good player of the trumpet, but a genuinely nice guy. Did tons of work for charity and plenty TV work as well. Really, really good. Crazy Archer, best description of American football is controlled violence as a 6'5", 300+ pound people try to crush you. Yes, it is. But we have a similar thing called rugby football, and we don't have shoulder pads. There was a lot of controversy a few years ago when the jerseys they were wearing started having padding. Before that, there was no padding. I mean, no padding. However, it's not quite like you can jump at someone to take them out like you can in America. Yeah. But it is a proper contact sport. ICM kits are lovely and detailed, but can be challenging. Then yeah, they can be, mate. Do you know, I've built a couple of older ICM kits. The Foxhound was one, and the Ghost of Kiev kit. And you know what? Those older moulds are pretty poor, frankly. Hate to say it, but they're pretty poor. However, I've also built their OV10 Bronco and the Beaufort, and those were amazing, both in 1/48, but those were brilliant kits. ICM have really raised their game in the last few years, so I'm really looking forward to that 109. Adam, will I do a collection video? If you mean what I've got in my collection, probably not, mainly because they're all in boxes. I build a lot of stuff here, as you know, at least one, normally one kit a week. And there is really no room for them to be shown. So, yeah, I can put them out, but yeah. Other than the kits I did for my dad's, all the kits of my dad's squadron, which are in our dining room, there really isn't that much. I'm afraid I can show you. Sorry. Richard, ICM Junkers 88 and the HU 111 are brilliant. Richard, that they have now released the Heinkel 111 with the Paravane, the cutter for the barrage balloons. I'm properly tempted by that, mate. I really am properly tempted by that. Simon, Okay, you 2:45, dude. That there is no such time. How can you set that on a clock? There is no such time as 2:45 BST. Thank you very much for clocking in anyway. If you've got to get up that early, that's really cool of you to be around. Thank you so much. Okay, right, and what we can do back. Oh dear. I can't believe I've actually managed not only to stick some plastic together this time, but actually to start painting stuff. God. Sure. Can you maybe show your collection? Well, yeah, probably could, but again, it's a lot of it's just stuck in boxes, to be honest with you. Blah, 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 blah. So it's because I'm a bus driver, mate. You know what? So my dad, my dear father, was a bus conductor for many years before they got rid of them. So good for you, mate. Good for you. Stay safe on those roads, really. I'm enjoying this. I tell you what, I'm really enjoying actually managing to paint something for once. I can see. Adam, have I ever built an Avro Shackleton? No, but I have one next door. I have a Shackleton AEW to build that will eventually join the list. It's a big old thing. I love a Shackleton. Years and years ago, when I used to go to air shows, someone described the Shackleton as a collection of World War II spares flying in very close formation, which I thought was cheeky, but actually quite true. Apart from the fact that Griffins with the contra-rotating props probably were post-World War II. But the radar was probably about then. It had been on several other planes before the RAF got them for their shacks. It's a very beautiful aeroplane, actually. There was one at Manchester, but it's moved. There was one at Manchester at the Museum of Science and Industry. But I think they've closed their aviation thing, and a lot of the exhibits have been shipped off to other places, which is a tragedy, because they had wonderful things. They had the English Electric P1A, the prototype for the Lightning, the one without the radome in the nose. They had one of those there. They had an Oka, the Japanese rocket-powered kamikaze plane. They had one of those. They had... Now, not many people know this. I should have done that in a better Michael Caine voice, but not many people do know this. They had an engine there, an American jet engine, which was intended to be used on a Lockheed project, a Lockheed jet fighter project, which would have been at about the end of World War II. But it's an axial flow jet engine, and the aircraft was going to be a canard fighter. If you can catch planes that never flew, it's that one on the Lockheed jet. Absolutely amazing. But they've got one of those engines, a properly high level axial flow engine from America. Really incredible. Richard, Revel have reboxed a lot of ICM kits. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Dane, you've got 148 TSI. Hey, just rub it in, mate. Rub it in. Why don't you? You can get so much aftermarket for that 148 kit as well. Robo, show of hands from those of us looking forward to the Fairy Rosadine. As soon as I saw that was coming in, I ordered one. I cannot wait for that. I saw the moulds for that last July at Airfix in Margate, and I said to Dale at the time, he'll deny this. He will deny it. If you ask him, he will deny it. I said to him at the time, Dale, you have to put this out. Get those moulds cleaned up, get them to China, get them printed, because you will sell loads of these. Everyone wants a Rosadine, and sure enough, they have, which is nice. It's a beautiful kit. The other thing that was there in the same part of the mould store, so I don't know if it was going off to China for maybe next year, was the SRN4 hovercraft, which I remember making as a kid. It had the transparency had included cars like a VW Beetle and things like that. The 148th Lancaster, nah, not going to do that. 132nd Lancaster, that is such a huge kit. I would never ever make one of those for my channel. There are other better modelers around who will do and have done an amazing job, and I'm sure it's a stunning kit, but it's way out of my league. I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get hold of the TSR2 though. Dane, good job. I mean, normally I don't condone violence, especially against women, but TSR2, whatever. Saab 29, yeah, Jake, that's a lovely kit. You can get the Talon, you can get a few kits of that now. Special hobby, maybe, do one. It's a lovely sort of barrel-y looking thing, but actually really quite cute as well. From what I understand, handled very well as well. Good aerodynamics. Yeah, we all have to make room, dude. Huh. Rob, yeah, I know. This is why, Rob, I almost never get anything done. It's because I enjoy the to and fro as well, and I'm kind of trying to narrate it and catch up with it and chat with you guys. In the meantime, trying to build something, and the two kind of don't really go very well together. But of the two, I would much rather have a lot of chat from you guys over building plastic kits of a TIE fighter any day. It's part of the joy of what I do, is the connection I get with a lot of other model makers. And you know what, generally speaking, and don't generally like to make generalizations, but generally speaking, the people I've chatted to on this model hobby have been brilliant, have been really nice, have been open, have been helpful. It's been fun. It's a lot of fun, and to think I get to do this as a job is quite bonkers, but really good. Really, really good. Substitute. Could Airfix do the TSR2 as a vintage classic? I don't actually know if they own the tooling. There's kind of an odd part of Airfix's history where they didn't own some of the tooling. Some of it belongs to Hele, some of it belongs to someone else, and then there's a bit of a problem sometimes with the kits. Do you know, I'll ask them, either the 172nd or the 148th, I'm not entirely sure which, but pretty sure it would sell like nothing. I mean, you look on auction sites, let's say, and TSR2s are really, really, really going every day. You know, you put on a TSR2, goes, it sells. It's a beautiful aeroplane. I mean, incredible aeroplane. I was really, really privileged many years ago to meet B. Beaumont, who test flew it. He's also a test pilot for Lightning and the Canberra and a few other things. Spent a little bit of time chatting with him, and he said the TSR2 with, I know it took a lot of money at the time, but with a little bit more money, it was an absolute world beater. There was things like, you go supersonic and then you go from subsonic to supersonic, and there's absolutely no trim change in it at all. And so that's the only plane that he ever came across was no trim change going from subsonic to supersonic flight. The maneuverability was astonishing. The development potential was amazing. You know, we all look at it now and say, what a great plane. Wow, we could put these on it, could put these bombs on it, could put this pod on it. But just imagine what the development was, the potential for developing the basic design and the follow-on aircraft. Absolutely stunning. I love the TSR2. Absolutely love. Yes, I have been to Cosford. I went to Cosford in 1978, 1979. On an RAF cadet camp. We went to Cosford. Lovely place. I meant to go there last year. I couldn't go there last year when I went to Telford. Next year when I go to Telford, I really need to go to Cosford, because for two reasons. Firstly, to check out the other TSR2. I've been to see the one back in Duxford. That's the other TSR2 that exists. I'd like to see what they've got there. They've got a Lincoln. They've got an enormous range of research aircraft. One of which is the Prone Meteor, the Meteor F8, and they put a forward fuselage on it with a prone pilot position to test the idea of having a pilot lying on his stomach to do. They thought it might be better for G tolerance and stuff like that. My dear father flew in that very plane as human ballast. He had just had his lunch, and they were looking for people who have just had their lunch to go up on this thing and see what manoeuvres, whether they would feel unwell, specifically because they were lying on their stomach having just had lunch. And he went up in it and absolutely loved it. Apart from landing, where there's a glass panel underneath your nose when you're lying flat, and the Meteor doesn't sit very far off the ground. He said it was a bit of a tense moment when the main wheels touched and the nose kept going down, until eventually the nose wheel touched, like 3 feet off or 2 feet off the tarmac. But other than that, he said it's absolutely fine. Really, really comfortable. The similarity to the TSR to the Jaguar, yeah, but a lot smaller, the Jag. But yeah, twin engine, the wing design is kind of similar, you know. But it's amazing, absolutely amazing place, Cosford, and I really, really need to go there when I can. What am I going to do? I'm going to do a little bit more work on Darth Vader here. Fairy Delta 2. Someone is doing a Fairy Delta suit soon, but it was, I'm going to say about 6 months ago. I did it on Monday Matters. Dora Wings have got one in planning, so it won't be long before that's around. The Fairy Delta 2, beautiful plane, absolutely beautiful plane. Richard, sorry, yes, have I ever thought of doing a group build on the channel? Um, I've been asked this on my Facebook group as well. If you do Facebook, I know a lot of people don't, but if you do Facebook, check out my Facebook group as well. Gary's Friends Stuff. 250 members or so, but yeah. And do you know what? A few people have mentioned group builds, and I've thought about it. I have thought about it. The problem, what do I do a group build of? And then the other day I thought, because the SM79 did so well, I thought of maybe a group build to do with vintage classics. Now, by vintage classics, I don't mean they have to be Airfix ones. I'm thinking maybe do a group build of kits that were tooled before 1973, so the tooling is at least 50 years old. What do you reckon? Would you be interested in that sort of thing? I'd love to do a group build. I have no idea how you go about doing a group build or organising a group build. I know some people who do know about these things. James, for example, over at Model Officers Mess, organised an amazing group build of people doing a 48th scale kit in 48 hours. Maybe I will. I don't know. What do you reckon? What do you reckon, guys? What do you reckon? My channel is an autocracy, but I am actually willing to listen. You may be surprised to hear. I would be. Oh, Mark, you were tooled in 1967. Do you count? Yes, you do, mate. If there's a kit of you, you count. Really. Dane, I wish someone would do a lovely 148 Supermarine X6B. Now, if you can, I don't know if they're still there, but if you can, either go to my Facebook. Sorry to publicise it on this, but go to my Facebook, Gary's Friends Stuff. Send a DM to someone called John Marley in Australia, because he did an S6 for the 48-hour build in 1/48. It was a bit of a troublesome kit, but get in touch with him and have a chat with him about it, because he did one. I know he did one. Yes, Nick, you feel that's a good idea? Group build? You know, how can I put this? YouTube is something I've done for the last sort of year and a half or so. But there are so many different bits of YouTube and Facebook, and I'm really not that familiar with group build, organising a group build. I actually want to do these, and I'll find out how to do them. So give me a little bit of time to sort it out. We can do it through the channel, we can do it through Facebook, we can do it however we want. But you know what? Let's go for it. Let's figure out. I will figure out. That's my job to do. It's a me problem. I will figure out the logistics. We will do a group build of vintage classics, by which I mean any tooling released before 1973 or earlier, according to Scalemates. Okay, we'll use Scalemates. They have issues, sometimes they're not quite right about other things, but we'll go with Scalemates, deciding when a tooling was released, pre the 1973 or earlier, and that's what we'll do. Yeah, I'll work on that over the next couple of days, maybe come back on Monday Matters, and I'll maybe have something to talk about then. But I think that's the thing to do, because I loved making the Sparviero, let me tell you. I'm going to get it for you because I enjoyed it so much. I want to show it to you again. Talk among yourselves. Oh yeah, you do anyway. Silly me. Okay, So my Spaviera, not the best airbrush job I've ever done, because I had a lot of trouble getting the consistency of the paints right, and there's a bit of splatter, which you don't notice terribly much when it's on the shelf. And maybe that, I only noticed it really when I was filming, and when you film things really closely, it really just show up issues, and I felt really uncomfortable with showing that. But that's a me problem. So I did the two torpedoes. Let me just say, if anyone's watching, I've had so many people tell me SM-79s didn't fly in combat with two torpedoes. Okay, I get it, I understand. However, this I have done as an inspection, a parade ground special. It's perfectly clean, there's no engine soot on it. The propellers are all lined up. If you watch the history video of the Spaviero that I did, there is an archive image of like a group of these things, not just a squadron, a group of things, all of them with the props exactly lined up. Very late 30s Italy. Likewise, it only carried two torpedoes for propaganda use, but yeah, that's what this plane is intended to be. I loved building it. I was very concerned about building a vintage classic, but you know what? I've built some modern planes that were worse or as bad, so I really don't mind building them. Dane, off to bed. Sleep well, my friend. Well done, you. Okay, cool. Do you know what? There's lots of things. Lots of people, things. Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that's a great idea. Okay, all right, cool. By the way, incidentally, I did get. See, the Spaviero was a really successful video for me. I mean, like, insanely successful. Is it because it's a vintage classic? Is it because it's a very odd three-engine thing from the war? I don't know. But anyway, I've ordered another vintage classic, a Beagle Bassett. I've wanted to do that for a long time. I also have somewhere, oddly enough and appropriately enough, it's gone walkabout. I have a Commonwealth CA-13 Boomerang as well, vintage classic. So I've got two more vintage classics to build at some point. I don't know how well they're going to go together, but if it's like the SM-79, I've got to tell you, I really enjoyed doing that. So yeah, cool. Let's see how that goes on. Is there a 148th Fiat G55 Centauro? Jake, I can't help you with that. Scalemates.com is my suggestion for that. Adam, what's the least favourite kit you've built? Okay, now, you know I get on really well with the guys at Airfix. Okay, I talk to Dale and Luke, the researcher, almost on a weekly basis. I talk to their designers as well. However, the F-18 that they did, the latest Top Gun tie-in, my God, that was awful. I can't actually say anything else other than it was awful for so many reasons. Firstly, the kit was from a moulding that was made before the first Top Gun movie was made. Okay, it's a really old moulding of an F-18A. Top Gun Maverick uses an F-18D, you know, the modern one, the Super Hornet, with the square intakes, not the round intakes. The 6 weapon pylons under the wings, not the 4. Oh, and by the way, it's 20% bigger. So it's a much bigger plane. It essentially, They were very close to renaming the entire thing, not just calling it another F-18, giving it a totally new F number. It was that different. The Airfix kit is from the original one, which is about, I think it's about 86 or 1986, 1987. It's a really awful kit to put together. It's really not well made. And then they've got these amazing new cartograph decals to go with the kit, and they paid license money for this to be able to do it. I built it because it was there, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. It was one of those things where you think, oh, do you know what, why didn't you just buy in the Revel one? It was terrible. Oh, absolutely terrible. Really didn't enjoy that. Rob, you've got the Basset in your stash. Do you know what? A lot of people got it. It's a lovely, the Beagle Basset is a lovely, very elegant little aeroplane. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to building it actually. Your least favourite kit was the Tamiya 148 Sea Harrier, Christopher. Yeah, I know. I've heard those were not great kits, to be honest. I've never built one. I've heard they were not great kits. But I want to make things in 148. My dad's squadron, 800 Naval Air Squadron. I did everything in 172nd. I was going to do like a selection of things in 148th as well, because I got sent the Harrier GR9, which had the 800 Naval Air Squadron colours, whilst they were part of Joint Force Harrier. I've built a few other things. There's a 148 Scimitar coming out later this year that DBMK are making, which I want to put up. So there was lots of things. I was looking at Sea Harrier FRS ones, and everyone says don't go near that one, that Tamiya one. Yeah, normally they're pretty good kits, Tamiya, from what I know, or Tamiya, or however you pronounce it, but that one apparently is a bit of a dog. Maybe it was like brought in from somewhere else. I don't know. Alan, part of it for me was the paint scheme. It's not the usual camo paint. No, the Italians didn't really do much in the way of normal camo. I was very tempted, I have to say, I was very tempted to, with the Sparviero, to do it in Spanish Civil War colours, the Balearic Squadron colours, which are a bit more normal, but yeah, I just went with the kit. What I like about Vintage Classics, people saying, oh, why are you doing this, da 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 da. Yes, the kits are as they were, the original moulds and everything. They clean up them, they can clean up the moulds these days, that's the thing. When you've got a mould, if it isn't quite right, you can put it in a machine and just mill down electrically, mill down the errors, and you can increase flow channels and stuff like that. Maybe I should do a video about this. I didn't cover it enough in my how they make plastic kits video, but there's all sorts of clever little things they can do to tidy up a mould. And what they do, however, is commission new decals from Cartograph. And for, I think it was the Fiat G50 actually, I think the cost of the new Cartograph decals was more than the cost of the rest of the kit, because the decals are on another level. With the Boomerang and with the Beagle, you can see that they've done a lot more research on what should be there, and there's a lot more sort of stencils and stuff like that, which you would never put on in the late 60s, never. So that's why Vintage Classics, people say, you know, what's the point of Vintage Classics as opposed to buying an old kit? Well, the first thing is the decals are so much better. The ideal world would be to buy a kit from the first run before the moulds got a bit tired, but with the Cartograph decals, that would be happy days. A lot of them go together really well, I have to say. The Sparviero, there weren't any major issues in the construction, but then you'll know that because all of you, of course, have watched my video. I loved it. Loved it. Leon, oh, you've been an M4A2 Sherman. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad I could provide a bit of background for you. That's nice. Um, Sean, the Triebflügel. Do you know what? I was very tempted with that a little while. Maybe one day I will. Maybe I'll go for that one deal. It's just one of those. Anyone who's watched Monday Matters for a long time will know I love weird stuff. I love odd stuff. The Triebflügel is about as odd as you can get. Look it up on Google. Essentially, it's a plane that sits on its tail. Around its midsection, there's like a rotor system, and there's big like helicopter rotors that come out, and there are jets at the end of the rotors. So the jets fire, and these three rotors spin round, and that gives you your lift, and up you go. And you're supposed to then transition to forward flight, and go and shoot down enemy bombers, which is fine. The problem was going to be coming back because you know to slow down and then sit on a tail and go back. It's very Thunderbird 1. It's beautiful. Benedetto. Flamboyance. Yeah. Do you know what? If I said that, that would be racist. But you're Italian. You know how it is. Yes, flamboyance. Yes, but do you know, elegance is also part of that. You look at a lot of Italian fighters from the Second World War, the Makitoy 2, the Reggiani 2000. Yeah, they're very elegant. There's a very good sense of design, and as Barnes Wallace I think always said, if it looks right it will fly right, and there are amazing planes. You put a decent engine into them, or you know, a decent mass produced engine into them, they were superb aircraft, absolutely superb. Same as last month, mate. 2 BZ. Yes, I know. Right. It's 3/4 of the way through, and I'm not even like a third of the way through my pint. So cheers, everyone. God save the king. That is such a nice beer. Fairy Gannet by Sword. Yeah, I looked at those and then I thought, nah, maybe not. Sean, it's a wonderful kit. It looks. I've seen it on. You've put some pictures on my Facebook group, I think. Looks incredible. Looks really nice. George, yay. George, yeah, it makes you realise the only reason Germans got the jet first was because they were just building whatever the hell seemed like it would fly. I think also, George, to be fair, I can't believe I'm saying to be fair to Nazis, but no, to be fair to the German industry, it wasn't just that they would think, oh yeah, whatever the hell. It was they weren't as conservative and they weren't as stuck in the past, frankly, as the British aerospace industry was in the pre-war era. If you went with something odd, they didn't want to know. They wanted tried and trusted. You know, you look at things like the Stirling's bomb bay and the Wellington's bomb bay. It's because, no, these are the size of bombs that will work. They worked before, they'll work in the future. End of story. We won't have any flexibility. None of that nonsense. Not interested. The Germans, frankly, towards the end of the war, of course, were desperate for solutions. And yeah, they would try anything. But to be fair, the batch of aerodynamicists that they had were stunning. They were incredibly inventive. Look at the Blom and Voss asymmetric aircraft. ME-163 wasn't great. The Natter fortunately didn't make it to service. I think there was one and it killed the test pilot, but the 163 was one of those things that was like the 263 would have addressed a lot of the problems. It was like, fortunately for us, they didn't have the development time. You look at 1946, 47. If they had had the development time and the access to strategic materials, particularly for jet engines, God alone, we'd be speaking German now. I'm sorry, it was astonishing, the inventiveness, and of course, all of their aerodynamicists either ended up in America or in Soviet Union. Again, 1950s and 60s, Soviet aircraft, you look at the history of their fighter prototypes and bomber prototypes. It was very much, well, I've got this idea, and you show them the design. Well, okay, well, let's build 5 and see how we go. And if we only kill 1 test pilot, oh yeah, it's okay. Well, we'll build 500 of them. We won't put it into full production. We used to dream of stuff like that here in the UK, and we built a lot of great planes, a lot of great experimental aircraft for sure, but nothing like on the scale of the Soviet Union or indeed America. Their X planes and all these weird XB this and XF that, and incredible. Axial flow engines, exactly. Do you know, Jim? Axial flow engines were the thing. It is remarkable that had Germany had access to decent steel alloys that would work in the turbine environment of an engine, they would have had a proper set of jet. You know, famously their jet engines lasted sort of 25 flying hours ish. Had they had access to proper strategic materials, God alone knows what they could have made, because they had some pretty inventive ideas. Okay. Dry brushing. I'm going to do some dry brushing. I'm going to do a tutorial video on this at some point as well. Brilliant way of highlighting structures is dry brushing. There we go. Yeah, strategic material. I mean, the steels that they use now are phenomenal. The turbine blades on a modern jet engine are made of these steels with all sorts of weird stuff in them, rhenium and whatever. They operate in a temperature where, if the engine was stationary, weren't turning, the steel would melt. Okay, they're working in an environment. These turbine blades, the first thing the jet efflux hits after the burners, you pump in for you suck air in, compress it, inject fuel, set light to it. The first thing it then hits is the first stage turbine blade. Those things operate 30 degrees or so above the melting temperature of the steel. Why they don't melt is because they're spinning a lot, so there's a little bit of cooling, but also they've got cooling channels built into them that take the compressed air from the front end of the engine before you set light to the fuel and pump that through, and that keeps it cool. These things are a single crystal of metal. Okay, they're not like crystalline. You snap a piece of steel, you see lots of little bits and pieces of metal crystal. This is a single crystal of metal with these channels built in, which is a hugely secret operation, and they operate at a higher temperature than their melting point, spinning at 40,000 RPM when you take off. There are 90 or so in a large engine like on a 777 or something, and they can never fail. That, my friends, is engineering at its very best. It's beautiful, and Rolls-Royce are rather good at it, let me just say. Yes, yeah, they had great engineers. They got the Americans to the moon. There's a wonderful line in The Right Stuff where they're discussing whether or not they can get to the moon first, and someone says, yes, our Germans are better than their Germans. So, yeah. Jim, yes, dry brushing. I love dry brushing. Do you know what? I love it. It's as I say, it's what I used on this instrument panel. It's what I use if I'm not using photo etch or whatever on an instrument panel on an aircraft. I would much rather dry brush it if they've got the detail there than use a decal, generally speaking, because a lot of these are really finely molded, and if you try and put a decal on top, it just won't sit properly. But if you dry brush it, you pick it, and also you get a feel of wear with dry brushing that you can't get otherwise. But, Redtail Fox, 6:30 a.m. Oh dear God. Redtail Fox, thank you so much for joining us. 6:30 a.m. Oh my God. Yeah. Hey, Anfield Road layout in the loft. Yeah, I love that name. Love that name. My dear wife is comes from Birkenhead originally, so yeah, good for you. Although Anfield Road, that's a bit Liverpool. I think they were a bit more Tranmere Rovers, let's say. Big Tranmere Rovers fans. Yeah. Yeah, those cooling channels, they can cause problems. That was part of the issue with, if you remember that stuff about the volcano in Iceland. And I'm going to try and remember the name of it, because we went to Iceland and they told us the name of it and I cannot remember it. Eyjafjallajökull. There you go. Icelandic now. And yeah, the problem was that the particles of basalt that were being ejected by the volcano were getting into jet engines, going through the compressors, hitting the first stage turbines where they were getting melted and blocking the holes, and that was causing potential engine failures. Adam, I haven't built a Junkers 52 from Airfix. I'm really sorry, I can't help you with that. Hey Paul, oh, you're just back. Good man. Yeah, you said you wouldn't be able to, you might not be able to, but I'm glad you could. Thank you so much for joining me on this. I feel like I haven't done anything. I've done a bit of dry brushing on this and a bit of that and whatever. Okay, next bit. Number 10. Okay. The conceit that I might actually be able to build something on my channel whilst chatting with you guys is disappearing very, very rapidly. And I don't care. I'm happy about it, to be honest. Anyway. Chris, thanks to Maria for agreeing for me to do a channel. Do you know what? Maria loves me doing these things because I'm so happy afterwards. And do you know what? It's we say these things, and you know, sometimes it's not actually obvious, but you know, it is. This modelling lark is really good for your mental health. Do you know? Life could be so much worse for a lot of us, and you know, I include myself in that, but not because I've had a particularly hard time, because I haven't. You know, if you get involved with listening to the guys at Models for Heroes, you understand that some people have had a properly hard time in life. But you know, anyone, it's kind of a relative thing, and you know, it's not been great. Year and a half, whatever, but modelling I've loved, and it's really helped my mental health. I hope it helps other people's mental health. If anything, any of us, not just me, all of us, and there are a lot of guys who do an awful lot more for them than me at Models for Heroes, for example. You know that model making is just so good for you. Any of these things, any craft, anything to do with your hands and your brain, that whole brain, eye, hand coordination thing, it just lifts your spirit. When you get something, you look at it, your sense of achievement is fantastic. And that's what I do. And Maria can see that happening with me, can see how much fun it is, likes my tales of you guys. And yeah, it's good. It's absolutely grand. David, you visit art gallery. Oh right, I wonder who did the remastering of the Apollo photographs, David. If you know, let me know. There was a guy who did. Oh, I can't remember his name now. See, one of the reasons I used to go to America is back in the day, I used to work for a company, it's a stock photo agency, and it was all about science and technology and stuff. And my job was hard job was to deal with NASA. So every time there's a shuttle launch, I had fax. You remember faxes? I used to fax the guys at Houston and say, "Can we have the press pack of 10 by 8 glossy photos from this mission, please?" And they'd send them over FedEx Motors. And there was a guy I remember who was going to remaster from Apollo, and I said to the guys at Houston, "That's amazing. This guys have access to the proper originals." And he said, "Do you know what? They're not actually the proper originals. They're the first print from the originals. The absolute originals, no one touches. They're insecure." So that's what he said anyway. Now, I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but that's what my man Mike in Houston said at the time. But first generation prints from the negatives will be stunning, and to do the images from that would be absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Oh, so things are going so quickly. Things are going so quickly. Sean, do you know, do you know there's a lot of people that are enthusiastic on YouTube about making models. You know, it's. I was reminded many years ago. I was chatting with Crazy Loacher, who may or may not still be on the channel because he may be working. But I was chatting with him the other day on Zoom, and we were discussing various things, and he it reminded me, our discussion reminded me of when my sister and mother and father went on holiday to New England some years ago. They went to the Ben & Jerry's factory and they brought me back like a bumper sticker thing, and it says, "If it isn't fun, why do it?" And you know what? That is just so true. If it isn't fun, why do it? But therefore, if it is fun, why aren't you not do it? Why are you not doing it? Building these models is fun. I find this fun. Frustrating, difficult, challenging, yes, but fun. And so why would I not want to do this? Why would I not think this is a great thing to do, and to be quite evangelical about it? Because it's a great, as I said earlier, it's a great diversion activity. You get a great sense of achievement. You can make something that, you know what, other people might not think is great, but if you can make something that you put on your shelf and visitors come round who know nothing about model making, and you look at it and say, "Did you make that?" And you proudly say, "Yeah, I made that actually." Do you know what? That's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's why I always say to people, don't worry about what other people think. If you want to enter competitions, that's great. That's, you know, good luck to you. But if you don't, and you just want to make kits for your own pleasure, don't worry about other people. Just worry about what you think is right. You know, if you want to put all the rockets and the torpedoes on a bow fighter, even though they never flew like that, do it. Okay, just do it. Because what you enjoy is what matters. And I really hope that's what comes over from my channel. I love what I do. I love what I do. And I want more people enjoying what I enjoy doing. That's all. That's all. Oh, Crazy Lojo, you're working and listening. Sorry. Keep your eye on the road, dude. Okay? Don't worry about what I'm saying. Keep your eye on the road. We need you around. Doing two things at the same time is not easy. Maybe you should take an easy kit. Chris, I don't know if you know this kit, but let me show you the parts. Okay? There's this, what I've been working on. There's this. And there's this. Seriously. That is it. I just get so tied up with chatting, I never get to put the blasted plastic together. I need an editor. I need an editor to handle this for me, frankly. There we go. Yeah, Benedetto. I go to as I've mentioned on the channel, I go to my local club now on the third Thursday of every month at Harrow, and it really is just like a show and tell. You bring your stuff, you show it, and you chat about it. There are a lot of properly good model makers there. I mean, properly good. I mean, incredible model makers. And there's other guys that are okay. And there are other guys that make stuff and don't care what other people think. But they're just there to say, hey, I've made this, whatever. And everyone's accepted. That's what I like. No one judges you. No one thinks, oh, you don't belong here because that, blah, blah, blah. No, none of that nonsense. And that's kind of the sort of feel that this hobby should have. Because at the end of the day, what we're doing is sticking bits of plastic to other bits of plastic. We're not doing open heart surgery. We're not working down coal mines. We're not, rescuing lives. We're building bits of plastic. So maybe we shouldn't really be taking it that seriously sometimes. And Crazy Rocha, yeah, too many people make their own lives more difficult than they need to. You're absolutely right. And to be honest, sometimes I'm absolutely guilty of that. And I am not doing that anymore. I'm properly let's just deal with stuff. Yeah, that's the way it is. A7ACA. Best regard, Chile, South America. Oh my god, I've wanted to go to Chile for so many years. One of the things I did when I was working for a living at this company, selling pictures, was I got to see a lot of telescopes. I went to Hawaii a few times and something like that. I never got to go to the European Southern Observatory in Chile, their site in the Atacama. I would have loved to have gone to see the VLT at Paranal, Mount Paranal, the very large telescope VLT. I'd love to have gone there, but never managed it, sadly. Philippe, you're French from Burgundy. Thank you. Merci bien, Philippe. Soyez bienvenue. J'aime beaucoup Bourgogne. That's all I'm going to do. My French isn't as good as it used to be. I really wish it were. It's a beautiful language and a gorgeous country. Burgundy. Oh my goodness, the wine. Oh, the wine. Philippe, you're extremely welcome, my friend. Really welcome. Okay. Oh, almost caught up. Oh my god. Okay, cool. Yeah, I should be making. I've got 7 minutes to go on the stream, and I've done nothing on this essentially. But just like last time, guys, it was enormously fun to chat with everyone, and I hope you've enjoyed it too. I really like this. I love the sort of the informality of it. For a start, yeah. Thank you. My French is really pretty appalling, but thank you anyway, Philippe. You're far too kind. I love chatting with you guys, and there's some people who sort of kind of view live streams as kind of something you ought to do, and whatever. But I actually really, really like it, and I am buzzing, absolutely buzzing. As you can see, still only halfway through my beer, which is always a good sign that I've enjoyed chatting more to you than I've enjoyed drinking my beer. So fantastic. If even if I do 10 minutes modelling. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Overdose Gaming, you're absolutely right. David got in to see the William Herschel. That's a beautiful telescope in La Palma. Can't remember how big it is. 4.2 meters, something like that. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. If you can ever get to see a major research telescope, they are astonishing things because the mirrors on them are gorgeous. The quality of the manufacturing of the glass is astonishing, and they're just very, very impressive as structures, considering how accurately you have to point these things out. It's like hundreds of tons of glass, and they point them with incredible accuracy. Andrew, I'm glad. I'm really glad you've enjoyed it, because you know what, I've done more than I did last time, I will say, but really not very much. But hey ho, I'll finish the kit another time. I'll finish the kit later. Derek, you'll catch up at 10. Okay, dude, that's fine. That's fine. Paul, you never said that would be beer. Well, I've got beer. Whether you bring your own beer, that's maybe next time I'll have a suggested beer for the next one. I'll put up why don't you make sure you have a pint of this available or a bottle of this available. Model Kit Bench, dude, thank you so much for dropping by. All of you, we've got 4 minutes left now. Thank you so much for dropping by. I can't tell you how much I enjoy doing this. I can't tell you how much joy I get out of it, and I'm kind of only sad it's a one-way thing. It would be interesting if everyone could chat back in real time, but yeah, maybe this is probably a good filter to have. You have to type it out. If you've typed up something and I haven't got round to your comment, please, I don't mean any disrespect. It's just sometimes the chat thing here sits there for like 2 or 3 minutes with not much happening, and then the next thing you know, it's like 5 pages wallop through, and I haven't got a moment to have a look. But I would say, maybe if you've got something you'd like to chat about, and I'm open to doing this, check out Gary's Friends stuff on Facebook and drop me a line on there and we can have a chat. Thank you all so very, very much for joining me. I see a lot of people saying good night to all of you. Menabrea, and yeah, well, you probably can contact me on my channel, and you probably can send me something to the beer. Ferry, yeah, I know, dude. It's that time of night. Benedetto, mille grazie. And lovely to see you. I like that I can tease Paul across the Sarah Corrigan. I don't want to get involved in any domestic issues here, please. I really don't. Adam, yeah, the chat hits the afterburners. It does, man. It just keeps on going, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. I love doing it. Thank you all so very, very much. Crazy Locha, you absolute legend. Thank you so much for joining me. Please stay safe out on that truck of yours on the road with all the crazy British tourists on the wrong side of the road. Please do take care. David, enjoyable as ever. You guys make this as much as I do anything. Rob, good to see you, my friend. You have a good evening. Christopher, lovely to see you. That's pretty much it, guys. 10 o'clock closes in on me. Over there, so how's that MiG-21 coming? It's okay. I very briefly, you can see I've got the interior green here, and I've done the nose cone. It's going to start up again, so really don't worry. It will come back on the channel very soon. I've got It's on the way. Philippe, the 124th Spitfire, my friend, that is astonishingly beautiful piece of kit. The 124th Spitfire is lovely. Had my viewers not voted for the pink photo reconnaissance version, I was going to make the French version. Oddly enough, a beautiful kit. Best of luck with that. Do catch the videos and see if there's any tips there that will help you. John, I made you buy the MiG-21, did I? Did I make you? Did I force you to? Really, John? Really, really, really? What a good call, because that's a damn good kit. If you buy the Profi one as well, if you've got the Profi version, my goodness, that's one hell of a kit. Enjoy building it, my friend. Enfield Relay, good to see you too, my friend. Christopher, lovely to see you. Overdose Gaming, good to see you, everyone. So it's 10 o'clock. Thank you all so very much for joining in, and I'm sorry I haven't actually done very much to show you. I've done a little more than I did with the Zero. One day, when I'm rich and famous, I'll have people to run this for me, and I can calmly work here. But it wouldn't be the same, would it? Eh? It wouldn't be the same. Friends, thank you so very, very much for tuning in. Keep your eye out for the Blenheim build. That's maybe tomorrow, maybe Saturday, I don't know. But if it's Saturday, that's a problem because it's the coronation day. But maybe tomorrow. I might be able to get up there tomorrow, but it's coming up soon. Do tune in for Monday Matters, of course. If you're one of my supporters through Patreon, buy me a coffee, Ko-fi, or by being a channel member, or just by generally being a really cool dude and sending me stuff, do watch out for the supporters special at the weekend. I will be doing one, even though it's coronation day. I'll be there. I'll be chatting about what's going on. So keep an eye out for all my videos. If you haven't, do remember, subscribe, hit the bell, then you'll see all of them as they turn up. Thank you so very, very much for tuning in. And I better get going and see what my dear wife is up to. She's probably watching that I'm a celebrity, blah, 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 whatever. But, yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Happy modelling. I'll see you very, very soon. Thanks for joining me.